Alright, so in this video we're going to practice solving two-step inequalities and graphing them on a number line. So the same rules apply to solving inequalities as they do when you have one-step inequalities. Again, you want the variable on the left. If you have a greater than or less than, less than or greater than, that's going to be an open circle. If you have a less than or equal to or a greater than or equal to, it's going to be a closed circle. And again, if you multiply or divide by, a negative, you flip the inequality. So if you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the inequality. Alright, let's try one. So in question number 1, we're going to solve 2x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 24. Again, we have to get rid of adding or subtracting first. The inverse of adding 4 is subtract 4. I'm left with 2x is greater than or equal to 20. And again, I do the inverse of multiplying, which is divide. Divide both sides by 2. X greater than or equal to 10. 20 divided by 2 is 10. My variable's on the left-hand side, so I'm all set with that. It's going to be a closed circle because it's greater than or equal to. And this reads greater than, so we head to the right. In equation number 2, we have m divided by 3 minus 3 is less than or equal to negative 6. So again, we want to get rid of adding or subtracting first. We need to add 3 to both sides. I'm left with, I'm going to write it over here, m divided by 3 is less than or equal to negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Again, I want to do the inverse of dividing by 3, which is multiplying by 3. M is less than or equal to negative 9. I have my variable on the left-hand side. Less than or equal to means I have a closed circle at negative 9, and I will head to the left. On question number 3, I have the distributive property. Negative 3 times the quantity of p plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 18. I have to distribute negative 3 times p is negative 3p. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And less than or equal to negative 18. Again, I get rid of subtraction first by adding 3. And I have negative 3p is less than or equal to negative 15. Here I need to get rid of the negative 3, I have to divide by negative 3. And my rule says when I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip this inequality here. So I have p is now greater than or equal to negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. Variables on the left-hand side. Greater than or equal to means I have a closed circle. And again, it says greater than, we head to the right. Question number 4, another distributive property. Negative 4 times the quantity negative 4 plus x is greater than 56. Again, I multiply negative 4 by both terms inside. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x, still greater than 56. I still have to remove the adding or subtracting first. I have to subtract 16 from both sides. That leaves me with negative 4x greater than 40. 56 minus 16 is 40. Again, I have to divide by negative 4, which means I have to flip this inequality here. So x is now less than negative 10. That's going to be an open circle at negative 10. And I'm going to head to the left because it's less than. Question number 5, I have the opposite of b minus 2 is greater than 8. I need to get rid of the subtraction first. I add 2 to both sides. I have the opposite of b now is greater than 8 plus 2 is 10. This is like an invisible sneaky negative 1 right here, so I have to divide by negative 1. Again, when I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip the inequality here. So now I have b is less than 10 divided by negative 1 is negative 10. Variables on the left, less than means an open circle. And I'm going to head to the left because it's less than. On question number 6, I have another distributive property. Negative 4 times the quantity of 3 minus n, 3 plus n, is greater than negative 32. So again, I'm going to distribute the negative 4 times 3, negative 4 times n. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 4 times n is negative 4n, greater than negative 32. I have to remove the negative 12 first by adding 12 to both sides. That leaves me with negative 4n is greater than negative 32 plus 12 is negative 20. Again, to get rid of the negative 4, I have to divide by negative 4. And n, since I am dividing by a negative, I have to flip the inequality, and it's now less than. Negative 20 divided by negative 4 is positive 5. Again, variables on the left. Less than means it's an open circle. And I'm heading less than from 5, so that's to the left. Number 7, 4 plus a number divided by 3 is less than 6. I have to get rid of adding or subtracting before I can get rid of multiplying or dividing. I'm going to subtract 4 to zero that out. 4 minus 4 is 0. I have number divided by 3 is less than 6 minus 4, which is 2. So I'll rewrite that over here. Now to remove the division, I multiply. Multiply both sides by 3 to get the n by itself. I have n, multiplying by a positive, no flip needed, less than 2 times 3 is 6. So n is less than 6, variables on the left, no equal sign under that inequality, so it's an open circle. And I head to the left. Number 8, I have another distributive property. Negative 3 times the quantity of r minus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. So again, I distribute the negative 3, multiplying it by both terms inside. Negative 3 times r is negative 3r. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, greater than or equal to 0. Again, I get rid of the adding or subtracting first by doing the inverse. Inverse of adding is subtracting 12. This leaves me with negative 3r on this side, greater than or equal to 0 minus 12 is negative 12. Now I have to remove the negative 3 from the r, and I do that by division. And again, when I divide by a negative 3, I have to flip the inequality. So now I have r. My inequality flips from greater than to less than or equal to. Negative 12 divided by negative 3 is a positive 4. So my variables on the left, I have less than or equal to, so that gets in closed circle. And since it's less than, I'm heading to the left. Number 9, I have negative 7x plus 7 is less than or equal to negative 56. What I have to do is get rid of the adding or subtracting first. The inverse of add 7 is subtract 7. Leaving me with negative 7x on this side, less than or equal to negative 56 minus 7 is negative 63. I'm going to rewrite that up here. In order to get rid of the negative 7, I have to divide by negative 7. Again, when I divide by a negative, I have to flip the inequality. So I have x is now greater than or equal to negative 63 divided by negative 7 is going to be a positive 9. Again, I have equal to underneath there, so it's a closed circle. And I'm going to head to the right. Number 10 is another distributive property. Negative 3 times the quantity p minus 7 is greater than or equal to 21. So again, I take the negative 3 and I distribute it and multiply by both of those. Negative 3 times p is negative 3p. Negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21, greater than or equal to 21. I have to get rid of adding or subtracting first, so I do the inverse of adding 21, which is subtract 21 from both sides, leaving me with negative 3p on this side, greater than or equal to 21 minus 21 is 0. Again, I have to get rid of the negative 3, and I do that by division. When I divide by negative 3, I have to flip the inequality. So I have p is now less than or equal to 0 divided by negative 3 is still 0. I have less than or equal to, that means I have a closed circle at 0. And since it's less than, I head to the left. On number 11, I have a negative 11x minus 4 is greater than negative 15. So again, I need to get rid of adding or subtracting first. I'll add 4 to both sides to make this a 0, leaving me with negative 11x on this side, greater than negative 15 plus 4 is negative 11. To get rid of the negative 11 here, I divide by negative 11. When I divide by a negative, again, I have to flip the inequality, so I have x is now less than negative 11 divided by negative 11 is positive 1. My variables on the left, I have less than with no equal sign. That's an open circle. And since it's less than, I head to the left. In number 12, I have a big fraction. So let's talk about what we do here. Negative 9 plus a, all divided by 15, is greater than 1. So to solve these fractions, I have negative 9 plus some number, then divided by 15, is greater than 1. So first I have to move the 15 before I can get to that negative 9. That's with the a. So the opposite of division is multiplication. I need to multiply both sides by 15 to remove the denominator. So multiplying both sides by 15 cancels these 15s out. I have negative 9 plus a is greater than 1 times 15 is 15. Now since I want the a by itself, I have to get rid of the negative 9, and making it a 0, I add 9. I have a over here, negative 9 plus 9 it cancels out, greater than 15 plus 9 is 24. Again, the variables on the left, I'm all set with that. Greater than with no equal sign is an open circle at 24, and greater than again means I head to the right.